Ese Richie. ¿Qué? ¿Qué? Estamos viendo un nuevo nivel de desesperación. Se llevó al Momo, güey. Usa el dragón ya. Oh, lo echó a perder, cabrón. Es un pequeño ritual, güey. Aquí la víctima va a ser Richie, güey. Es el único lento. Suponiendo que va a ser su trabajo de flanker. Pues ahí está la víctima. Esperemos que el chango capitalice eso. Ya sea. By the side of Mexico, Castle had to jump in, but now has to back up. Bandit walks forward towards that statue side and keeps poking down on hell over the top. Working out for them quite well as they've rotated towards that point and aren't really in a whole lot of danger, although you're taking bullets directly from on hell. Good movement from Vinci to avoid that damage. In fact, Guatemala are the ones taking. Es que Ángel, bueno, es que traen Cassidy, pero me gusta más. Oh, ok, es que el Chublix está jugando Tracer. Iba a decir Ángel de Tracer, pero bueno. Ahí está. Buena.
A lot of stall potential as well. They're coming up on the nano boost, the primal, and then that's going to buy themselves the time to be able to cycle towards the bob. Okay, now we're going to be seeing Richie go on to that Sombras. Keep an eye on Chobolux, however. He is just sneaking forward. They don't really have a way of being able to contest him on the high ground, so when this pulse bomb attaches onto someone, they're going to have to try and use the Susie to be able to cleanse it.
Yeah, and already entering on the Vinci as well, early on.
Ese Lucio, güey, anda alimentando mucho, Me pregunto qué quería obtener el Lucio de Guatemala, güey, estando tan alejado de su equipo. Los estaba dejando sin velocidad. Richie con Genji, güey. Sí, no saben qué usar. Honestamente que se vaya a sombra ya, güey, mejor. Sí. Pero no me acuerdo si ellos fueron los que utilizaron. Ah, no, fue Costa Rica, güey. Costa Rica en el primer juego contra México utilizaron Genji. Le sacaron provecho en una sola pelea porque estaban jugando alrededor del ulti de Genji, güey, pero fue muy tarde, güey, no le sirvió. Yo creo que... No mames, ya, güey. Así como si nada, güey, mató a un support que debería de ser los que mates al último. Por el hecho de que se tienen que cuidar. Es muy importante su vida. Se hubiera ido sombra, güey. Y hubiera estado tratando de focusear al tanque para que no estuviera tan enfadoso.
Different voices trying to throw out different solutions because they would just go through compositions, shedding those compositions every single time it didn't work out once. And that's not really the way that you want to play it. When
May,
you to something,
Reaper.
there's a reason for it, and a lot of the time
Pues vemos que sí les está calando el tanque, ¿no? De México.
Yeah, to a certain point in Overwatch 2, you do somewhat regain a little bit of ultimate charge, but you can't go past 30%, Dustin. So Mexico were always in control just of ultimate economy alone.
Yeah, they just totally controlled that round. Now Guatemala, you know, that was their round as well too, to potentially swap Richie over to Widowmaker, but obviously they got the game plan.
Y tiene que ser alguien muy especial de que sí le saque provecho y que el equipo sepa jugar alrededor de eso. Porque muchas veces va a estar
Teniendo sombra significa que vas a estar 4 contra 5 en momentos. Ya que en cualquier momento que le bajan sombra, la vida utiliza su teletransportación y prácticamente deja 4 contra 5 al equipo. Aparte, si vas a usar una sombra, tienes que tener mucha confianza en tu equipo de que vayan a focusear a quien estás hackeando, porque si no, no va a valer la pena.
Into the side of that tracer, but it's the rest of Mexico who collapses onto Guatemala. Both Richie, Bandit, Marleo, Arenas all fall. Eventually, Vinci does as well, giving Mexico the first point.
So when you lose the Lucio, it's not the healing that you're going to be lacking. You've got a Moira, you have
Van a tener muchos problemas con la Echo, ¿no?
It's the speed boost.
Pero si ya cambiaron al Cassidy.
And Mexico, they understand that so well. They all just pile on Guatemala, who are just stuck in position and can do absolutely nothing. As again, we're going to see the comp swap come from Maleo onto that Kiriko for survivability when that dive hits, being able to use the Suzu as well to cleanse a lot of that poke damage coming out from these stickies from Trobolux. As Arnas on the nade with the cast.
Qué buena copia, güey.
Ready to go. It's that early on health. Still has the pulse for him to use it because the rest of his team has already taken down Guatemala. Aggressive and a play for Momo. Mexico collapses on them. Fast team fight for them.
Really fast, just not allowing Guatemala to be able to build up these ult charges. This is how you approach a team that is continuing to run through all of these different compositions. Use one ultimate, finish the fight as quickly as possible so that the 30% that they've managed to
Ya ven, así tiene que jugar Estados Unidos. O sea, es o no es, güey. Pero Estados Unidos se está viendo como el tipo de persona que no quiere a la chica, pero aún así la ilusiona, ¿no? Sabiendo que no la quiere, güey. Solamente está jugando con la comida y no. Así no. Aquí Estados Unidos, digo, México como hombre, le está diciendo a la mujer de Guatemala, le está diciendo, es que no te quiero y no te quiero ya. Pero Estados Unidos las ilusiona, güey. Las humilla y luego les dice que no las quiere, güey. Eso no es de caballeros, güey. In this fight, Guatemala uses that beat to sustain 97, 98% of the board. Guatemala tries to get that flip, but unfortunately, Castle is still here on the point, jumping into the air, able to get those kills from the main side. Gets poked a little bit, but has that cooldown of the shield to also avoid that pulse bomb that just came out from Richie. Ya valió madre, güey, para Guatemala.
Takes a ton of damage from Arnas, but it's too late. Bandit actually just, falls off the map there? Doesn't even commits the jump off the map in that fight. Like, what was he doing there? But, you know, at the same time, Mexico has come back through this point. Maybe to avoid a lot of damage, just had to jump into the middle of the pit. Mexico will get that flip. There's just this Carico left on the point.
Casi se lo ensarta, eh.
They're going to do so. Eventually, Marleo does fall. Just the tracer now. If Richie gets that mini health pack, they're trying to continue this overtime, but he gets deleted by a Brigitte. And a very dominant win for Mexico.
Así es.
It's just the ultimate economy.
Bueno, en un partido oficial, sí, güey. Ay, güey, me escucharon, güey. Ya entró histeria, güey. Vamos a ver qué onda, güey. Hablando del rey de Roma, güey.
Just not really that viable in the current meta, but you know what is? Having that Hanzo, and instead of having Arnas on to that Hanzo, they're often with Richie, kind of like that swap through for Guatemala, potentially could work out for them as well.
Ah, pues Histeria va a andar con todo, güey, porque como tiene rato, o sea, no ha jugado, va a querer. O sea, también aquí es una competencia entre los mismos compañeros. Si el güey se la rifa bien, va a tener más consideración para las siguientes partidas, ¿no? Pero Momo, güey. Creo que a Momo, güey, se le olvidó o lo cambiaron de rol
if there's a ram on the other side,
Casi mató a todos, güey.
everyone tries to be able to play off of the space that Ryan creates, that safety that the Ryan shield should allow Richie in that one.
Pues hizo buen trabajo, no murió. Pero hay que ver ahorita ya cuando... A ver de qué forma utiliza su ulti. Y o cómo repele la ulti del tanque enemigo.
This is what Mexico has been so good at, making all of these other teams play to their own tempo.
And by the way, Hysteria in the lineup too.
Ese Momo, güey, tiene sed de venganza, güey.
Shot comes in early from Richie. No kill though onto Momo. Even though it looked like it was through the Ant Matrix, still lived through it. Now the Ant Matrix is on both sides. Eventually fall. No ultimate. Just
El primer round o mapa de control lo ganó México. Uy, qué buen dragón, eh. Sí, eso tiene que ser Guatemala, retroceder porque para regruparse y tener otro ataque completo.
To be able to guarantee that they only lost Vinzi in that one, and look at the angle that Angel Velado is going to be taking. He's on an
Es lo que me refiero es de que ves, o sea, bueno, también tienen coaches, pero saben jugar, saben cuándo sí y cuándo no. Pues danos más tiempo a toda la región de Latinoamérica y va a ser competencia, va a haber más competencia.
Now they look forward to continue pushing this card, and so far they've not been stopped by Guatemala. They move it into third now.
And they're saving.
Es histeria, güey.
They literally throw in the blizzard, and they know that all of those players frozen up. They have so much trust in Angel Velado on that off angle, being uncontested, being able to land those headshots that they've.
Sí, es que es su momento, no sabe cuándo más vaya a jugar. Pero sí está fuerte, eh. Creo que entonces el otro tanque, Castle, es un muy buen Winston. Tuvo un buen desempeño en contra de Estados Unidos. Hysteria se está viendo bien aquí. No sé cuál será su tanque principal. Ay, güey, estuvo cerca, ¿eh?
Some of those shots in terms of that in terms of the amplification matrix on hell off the back also has found Marleo. Maywall perfectly placed, allows them to pick off Bendit in this fight, give him that 2K, make it a 3 and now 4 Hysteria in this fight. Keep holding on to those ultimates as well. Mexico is trying to get this last cap with a lot of time on the clock.
New May and Ram just have such good synergy with that new slows. Guatemala going to be putting Vinzi onto that center, trying to go for the glass cannon, the damage to chunk through Mexico without the ultimates. They just need to stall for Richie to build into the Dragon Strike, but they're just not getting past spawn.
No, they're not. They try to
ya lo llegaron, güey.
Everybody else on that payload. Mexico's trying to get one of the fastest times we've seen so far in these qualifiers. 3 minutes and 57 seconds.
Ya ven, no están jugando. Que ay, dales chance, ¿no? O sea, ¿no? Como es.
Incredibly smart. They see, okay, Guatemala want to run this Reinhardt. We're gonna force you off with the Reinhardt. Reinhardt versus Ramatra. It's always a really rough one.
Haciendo buen trabajo, ¿no?
Right? He's got a shield, just like you, but hey, look, he has constant ranged poke as opposed to you who have 2 fire strikes on a pretty chunky cooldown. So you are just forced to immediately bend the knee, and that forcing off was just a big sign of Guatemala not really understanding how to play the composition, not getting the timing either to be able to set the composition up for its win condition.
Ahí que estabas jugando competitivo para tratar de sacar todo tu coraje de la partida anterior de Estados Unidos y Puerto Rico. ¿Querías vengar a Papa Joe?
I mean, if you agree with me here, Moxie, I feel like with Mexico, obviously they're stomping pretty hard at the moment over Guatemala. But, you know, for their side, a big takeaway, at least from a coaching perspective, I feel like I would like to see them play even more aggressive, make sure Guatemala doesn't have time to set up, because they're kind of getting Guatemala a lot of 5 versus 5s. When I'm sure you noticed it, Moxie, whenever they're up 5 versus 3, they could extend even further, right, to pick off those players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it was actually down to just respecting King's Rosie. It can become real easy for an attacking team to just get a little too blinded by that aggression and very quickly lose control of your time bank. As Guatemala now on the attack are gonna have Richie on
Ese Richie.
for a matter of seconds before he's gonna be
¿Qué? ¿Qué?
a Bastion.
Bastion with the
Vinci
lifeweaver.
still on the lifeweaver. Give him the platform. Lift him up. Put
Hemos-
the statue at the top hat, please.
Estamos viendo un nuevo nivel de desesperación.
They will right to some degree, but on hell opts to just destroy Marleo as they walk in. Bendet also falls. Richie without that front line, and Diana falls immediately as well. And
O sea, Bastion es bueno, hace demasiado daño, pero el problema de jugar Bastion en contra de un ambiente de este tipo es de que Bastion es lento y todos de volada te van a hacer focus, van a utilizar velocidad, ataques coordinados y ya valió madre el Bastion.
And I like this so far for Mexico. They're starting to understand like they can play incredibly aggressive if they want to. Just at that
Ana no debería estar ahí, güey.
on the left side looking for those one shots, not able to find it just yet. Onto that Hanzo, maybe not.
El ángel volado se vio medio malo ahí en ese tiro, así como yo. Pero por saber o no saber, siempre nunca es bueno ponerte en ese tipo de posiciones, ¿no?
Spacing. They haven't gotten past that choke yet. Anti-grenade from Marleo onto the May means that Choblox can cleanse it with just that ice block form. Now they have to deal with annihilation as well into the face of that Bastion.
Usaron el árbol también, güey, no mames.
They used the tree of life there, Moxie, but obviously that
Al utilizar todos esos ultis se están diciendo que ya no se, ya se cayeron, ya no tienen coordinación.
Potentially low. Maywall annihilation just to make sure that all of these members are alive and kicking and able to just continue to hold Guatemala in this choke for as long
Y siguen teniendo la misma composición.
on the spawn door as well as Angel Velado. There's no way he goes for the Dragon Strike into spawn right now. He's holding on to that ultimate. Mexico, like I said, they're aggressive, but they're smart about their aggression. They hold on to the ultimates and use them, not necessarily, but every single time that they want to use that Dragon Strike.
Yo creo que
Guatemala's own ults.
Uh-oh, guys. Bastion's ulting, whatever shall
si se van a ir con Bastion, se llevó al Momo, güey.
they got picked, okay.
Usa el dragón ya. Oh, lo echó a perder, cabrón.
Hell, Choblox also falls last second. Guatemala will take coming towards that.
Buena, buena.
Look to grab one tick.
Lo que iba a decir,
Some quick swaps. They want
que si se van a ir con Bastion,
to have that
pues
Matrix ready to go.
que se lleven un Baptist mejor en vez de Lifeweaver.
Stop this push right here and now pops that annihilation, breaks the immortality field. They kill Hysteria, but Choblox has found Richie.
No mames, Momo.
I would like to see Banda get a little bit more. He hasn't popped the annihilation until now.
No había necesidad, güey. Simplemente reagrúpense.
That a three, they actually get more in the back line, though. Paulette and Choblox
Fíjate,
traded.
se pudieron haber regrupado, salvar las ultis,
Pablo and Guatemala have done it. They take
cargar más ultis si quieres.
Good use of annihilation.
Se comen el tiempo
Until he sees
y ya en
annihilation
un
from Momo.
sueltan todo.
He has to force
Ya faltando unos cuantos segundos para finalizar la pelea.
everybody from Mexico's side on point looking to dive in to that backline and take them down to the Rematro. Without those supports would go down so fast, but he's able to take down the backline as
Richie salvó el día, güey.
and we're going to see Guatemala
Y luego el ángel volado cayó en la trampa del Genji y se lo alcanzó a chingar, güey, cuando usó el dragón.
advantage of.
Yeah, and this aggression is working so for them. Nice life, rest. Save that back line, but you know they've already lost Richie. Bendet also falls, and here comes the Mexico spawn camp.
¿Qué está haciendo?
Richie onto the Ash to accommodate. If you try and group up towards that spawn, they're going to be hit by a lot of this dynamite AoE damage. Should buy themselves a little bit of room to be able to break out. The problem is that Choblox is going to be sitting on that blade. Doesn't have an ammo.
Ese Richie no anda jugando,
Doesn't really have the means of being able to deal with it. Please check this corner.
No, 1, 2, 3, and Angel kills one. Now Marleo sees him, but it's not after Angel has found two.
¿Vieron cómo están coordinados?
Just have that Ana and that front line of the Ramatra, but not able to find that kill either.
Los están aislando.
Capability of just finding Bendit eventually and keeping that
So
spawn
split.
camp up.
Guatemala's forces are so split. Malayo is nowhere near Bendit. And as a result, Mexico
Es-
spawn camp just get to continue draining this
Puede que le puedan sacar provecho en manos de alguien que
single ultimate.
tenga más calidad, güey.
So still setting above the point, 1 minute and 40 seconds
Porque
to go.
lo digo porque si vieron cómo se separó,
They wanna use
no supo rotar bien
annihilation,
el Lifeweaver.
choke, and now decides to pop it against that
Si este güey decide aventarse, bueno, que salgan un poco,
down. Richie's goes
va a ser en la próxima pelea. Van a estar ahí atorados.
They have to continue to back up from
Y se va a aventar a lo mejor una buena Blade del vato de México, Ha decidido hacerlo ahí arriba.
Nana boost as well onto Richie, so it doesn't actually connect.
Ahora el otro, güey.
Popping that blade. They've got the immortality. Nice save from Marleo on the Choblux, but they don't have the
Pero no lo finalizaron.
and a lifeweaver, so it looks like he potentially could live.
Vivió, güey.
In fact, he does, and he dashes
Y por no matarlo, güey, velo.
and unfortunately for Guatemala, they
Está haciendo casi limpia el güey.
forgotten. They're getting spawn camp. You can't just leave for that objective. You got some members of Mexico in your spawn.
Así es.
Bendet's desperately trying to back up, get some of those heals. And
Vemos de nuevo cómo aislaron a los soportes
Towards that pillar, however, they have forced Mexico away from the
y dejaron el resto acá, güey.
The space to be cleared for Bandit to come in with
Ya se regruparon, ya les está yendo un poco mejor, ¿verdad? Pero sí tienden a separarse demasiado. Cuando les cae la presión,
running out in a matter of moments.
no sé si son los soportes que
They lose Richie
están haciendo mal las cosas
into
o
Volado, and
por parte del tanque que decide dejarlos e ignorarlos, güey. No.
I mean, this game, Mox, this is how you can
Algo de los dos.
between, you know, some of the top teams like USA stomping and a team like Mexico stomping. It just looks completely different. Mexico at times will lose team fights where it feels like USA wouldn't on the opposite side. Ant Matrix now for Momo down below. Guatemala trying to sustain, build up towards that nano boost on Marleo's side. Mexico looking for that.
Yo que él tomaría la parte alta.
On how looking for that Hanzo shot during this fight, potentially could get that one shot, but in fact built the Dragon Strike instead, which will cut off Bendit from his backline, but he got those heals. Nana boost to Genji on
Y
gotta find that kill. Luckily, Richie now has combined for those two. Choblux looking to go for that trade to build the blade. Also, Etheria is popping the ultimate, so it could work out for them, but Choblux falls while blading. It's just
histeria, güey. Pero sí,
potentially now at a 1 versus 2.
tiene que jugar lento, esperar a que se regrupen.
Benda uses it early to chase him down, but Etheria has his back up. Can grab the health pack, but he doesn't grab it actually.
No agarró la vida el güey.
He's waiting for his team to regroup here, but can't even touch the payload. It's going to be on the Lucio. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. They do touch it. Just Vinzi on the point. Going for the Secura. No beat in time from Vinzi. Howlett's there with his own beat drop, saving the beat for the plane ride home. Looks like Mexico stopped Guatemala in the second phase and take that 3-0.
not really voluntarily saving the